Go.
3, 2, 1, go.
In a world where cities are defined by vacant, dry, ugly land, is there any hope for nature? Can weeds rise from the concrete? And what if we helped with nature's instinctive rebellion against the artificial and the unsustainable? This was a question asked by a group of New York neighbors during the 1970s, and their legacy persists through the use of guerrilla gardening. These neighbors, known in their day as the Green Guerrillas, got tired of waiting for the government to repair the city's eyesores. Today, our eyesore is a collapsing ecosystem, and much like in the 1970s, the government seems conflicted and inefficient at solving the issue. As seen in a 2021 New York Times article by Hiroko Tabuchi, even our current president signs off on oil pipelines in the midst of a climate disaster. I believe guerrilla gardening is a way to give power back to the people of America in a way that can allow us to build a brighter future instead of destroying our uncomfortable present. Today I'm going to go over how the introduction of non-native plants has impacted the environment, as well as capitalism's effects on ecological development, an overview of how this ecological dilemma came to be and the movement that stood against it, and how and why we should continue that movement today to create a greener future. Invasive species introduced to California have led to the endangering of native plant life and have disrupted the local ecosystem. According to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, California hosts approximately 1,100 species and subspecies of non-native plant life. The scope and treatment of threats in endangered species recovery plans by Lawler JJ, Campbell SP, Guerry AD, 2002, showed that 73% of all recorded endangered species were threatened by exotic species in the state of California. In addition, no doubt if you live in any city of any kind, you've seen the results of failing infrastructure, vacant lots, and concrete wastes. While more common in larger areas like Detroit or New York or San Francisco, ugly, unmaintained infrastructure is a prevalent sighting in any developed area. These lots take up space for plants and wildlife, and when the businesses close, all they leave is asphalt deserts. Why is this our reality, and is it the one we have to settle for? According to the Adobe brick as a historical source by Hendry G.W. in 1931, the invasion of non-native plant life in California can be traced back to the Spanish colonization in 1769. However, a much larger boom can be traced to around 1848 at the rise of the gold rush. As far as vacant lots go, much of that can be attributed to big businesses developing areas for stores or infrastructure and then closing, leaving lots abandoned and unmaintained. As described in a 2016 article by Ethan Wolfman for Money.com, the new way that Walmart is ruining small towns in America. But this problem is not just a recent one, and in the early 1970s, a group of neighbors banded together to do something about it. Liz Christie and a group of neighbors took to the streets armed not with weapons of war, but weapons of weeds, implementing tactics such as seed green aids, small balls of clay, compost, and seeds, which she and her green guerrillas, spelled with one R, would lob over fences into vacant lots. All the sources for this you can find on the official greenguerrillas.org website. This leads me to today, and how the solutions of yesterday are just as effective now as they were then. I believe that guerrilla gardening is a means of helping restore native ecodiversity to our towns and cities, and moving us towards a more sustainable way of living that involves in cooperating with nature rather than manipulating or fighting it. Sometimes it takes more than voting or signing a petition to bring legislatures' attention to a problem. This is a form of direct, non-violent action that is affordable and accessible to almost anyone. To get started, you can go to guerrillagardening.org and find a community of other gardeners in your area. If it's something you'd prefer to do alone, then the website still has excellent resources for strategy and processes, such as how to make seed grenades. This has the added benefit of beautifying abandoned or otherwise unkempt plots of land and restoring greenery and plant life to the concrete jungle. For instance, if you're on your way to work and you notice an empty space of untended concrete, maybe a plot hole away from foot traffic or a gardening box that has been abandoned, that may just be an excellent place to begin planting. We've discussed the problems the ecosystem faces both in the cities of today and yesterday, and how the solutions of yesterday's green thumbs may just be our next step towards a brighter, better ecosystem. Without this step, we can imagine cities devoid of life. If mankind dies out, what do you want to leave behind? Empty storefronts? Barren concrete obelisks? When the cities have no people, what will they sustain if left untouched by nature? When invasive plant species eventually die out, we could be left with nothing. I'm an optimist, but a realist. If we want a future that is sustainable, we need to begin better cohabitation with Mother Nature. And since it takes ages for the gears of bureaucracy to turn out any results, let's take matters into our own hands. The Green Guerrillas aim to make the world a better place to live. They pass their methods, their dreams. I say, let's carry on their legacy and set our sights on a greener future so that our kids can look back and be proud of the work we did. Liz Christie planted a seed, and it's up to us to tend to what's flourished from it since.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.